Hello and welcome to another episode of SuperNerds UK.
Hello there, this is our general chat video. There's no specific topic tonight. We invited Twitter followers and Facebook ads to ask questions and suggest topics for us to talk about. We got the grand total of one question.
Yeah.
We will answer that one, but then we'll go on and we'll just talk about a few things that maybe have been in the news this week, or just general things that mean to talk about when we're not on it.
So
So the question was...
Yeah, who was it who said the question?
Chris Taylor from Facebook.
Thank you, Chris.
Asked the question. He enjoys comic book films and he understands that there's a lot of them. He wants to know, why do comic book films keep getting made, and why do the same ones keep getting remade over and over again?
Okay, and that's a really good question. So basically, I can think of three answers to that question.
Yeah, there's not one answer. The first one, and probably the most important one, is money.
Money. Especially now, since comic book films are really hot at the moment. Also, there is a rights issue, like a contractual rights issue, for the likes of, say, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, and so on. Studios have to make a film with those characters in every so many years, so that's why they'll bring out more films.
See, before the Fantastic Four one was made back in, I forget when it was, but the last two films, 2000, something like that. Well, before the first one of them came out, I know that the rights were just up, weren't they? The rights were just coming to an end, and if it had ran out and they hadn't made the film, am I right in thinking the rights would have gone back to Marvel then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So then they had to push to a film. There was one made in '96, wasn't it? Which you can find the actual full version of it on YouTube.
A really low budget
version. And it was made for no other reason. It was never going to go into the cinema. It was made just so they could keep hold of the Fantastic Four contract.
Just for that legality, basically, just so they could tick that box and say, right, we've made it so we keep the rights and we can make a proper one in the future, which is what they did, basically.
Maybe we can have the link to that at the bottom.
If we can find it, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's
good laugh.
It's really funny to watch.
The costumes are horrendous.
The actors are terrible. But it's But it sort of it doesn't explain itself. But then when you see how low budget this film is, it would show you why it was made. It was never made for a wide audience, was it? It was just made to make sure that they kept all of that contract.
Yeah. And what was the other reason I was going to think of? There's three, wasn't there? So the first one was money, which is, I mean, you could say money.
As much as we'd like to think that films are made for our sake, and everybody says they're art and they're made to please the fans, it's a movie business. It's not movie art. It's not. That's why it's made. Films are made to make money. At the moment, if a film is good, gets good word of mouth, it makes more money.
Yeah. So that's what, I mean, the incentive is to make a good film. Everyone wants to make a good film. Just doesn't always happen. It's really hard to make films, so sometimes they just don't hit the mark they want to.
Another reason that they make superhero films as well is it's very easy to make toys and merchandise and often.
Merchandise sells, which brings us on to another topic really, because of Batman and Robin.
They made it too close. They made it too much to make toys.
Yeah, they made those films like Batman Forever, Batman and Robin were made to basically sell toys, because when the first Batman film came out and then Batman Returns, they noticed that merchandise was making a ton of money.
Yeah.
And so further on in the field they thought, right, let's make more money on merchandise, and so they had Batman change costume every 5 minutes so they could make a different toy. They had new vehicles, so they could make toys of them. Brought in Robin, made toys of Robin for whatever reason, Batgirl, and the film was complete disaster.
And how many, as much as Batman Forever was nowhere near as Batman and Robin, how many suits did the Riddler wear? Just for toys and merchandise.
Yeah, that's true. It must have had money. Every different one, every scene, as far as I know. Yeah.
So that is another reason, and that's sometimes where it can go. It can be made as it can be a detriment to the film itself, because the more they concentrate more on making different costumes and different characters to sell toys.
The script wasn't really their priority. They just wanted to make money, and it showed, basically. It didn't work.
No,
and that kind of stopped comic book movies for a good while.
Yeah, and then we had...
Until X-Men, really.
X-Men, Blade, the Spider-Man all came out really close together.
Blade was in the late 90s, I seem to remember watching. It was like 90... I can check, I've got all my films up here, but I won't do that. I'll try and go off the top of my head. If I remember correctly, I think Blade was around 97, 98. And then X-Men came out around 2001. And
X-Men was the game changer as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well,
as good as Blade was, because I absolutely love Blade, but X-Men was the game changer because it was like, yeah, we can make Marvel films that can reach a wide audience.
Well, like Tim Burton did with Batman, they actually brought in someone, Bryan Singer, who cared about comic books and respect for the comic book genre.
Cared only about films as well.
And making movies
he was a good filmix. Tim Burton is a fantastic filmmaker.
Well, Usual Suspects, I mean, it's one of my favourite films. Yeah. And so, X-Men put comic book movies back on the map, basically. And then he kind of spoilt it again, I think, with the third X-Men movie. But it didn't cripple it too much.
No.
It just
gave
it
a
dent,
didn't it?
Probably.
And I think X-Men First Class sort of got it back on the right track again.
Yeah, but since then you've had the Marvel movies, and Superman Returns again made a bit of a dent.
That's why we didn't have a Man of Steel for a good while, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because they were worried that Superman Returns had damaged the Superman ethos as such.
Yeah, with Superman Returns, I think we spoke about this in our first video actually. Which, by the way, feel free to go back and watch.
Just tell us what you think from what we do now from our first video. Have we improved? I know it's only been a couple of months. Are we getting better? Are we getting worse? Shall we stop?
I don't really want to stop. I'm enjoying it. I'm hopefully thinking that we're getting a bit better every time. We're getting more comfortable in front of the camera. We're getting more comfortable editing stuff as things go on. Me and Ian, basically our background when we met was at college when we did the film course, and
so we
just kind of...
Well, what we talk about on camera is basically exactly the same conversations we have on camera.
So we just thought, why not film it? And let other people join in the conversation via comments, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and see what other people think. We watch lots of other YouTube videos do the same, and we enjoy them.
I listen to other people's podcasts all the time. I watch other people's YouTube videos.
Yeah. In fact, we'll probably do a shout out one soon of all the videos we like to watch, and you can tell us your ones you like to watch. So.
And let's share things in the community.
So if you want that, then let us know.
But they're the reasons we think that comic book films are made: to make money, sell toys, and to make sure that somebody keeps all of the contract. Yeah,
that's basically it. And the only thing I think has a slight difference is Warner Brothers pretty much own DC, so they've got all the DC copyrights. Now I think there's a bit of an issue with Superman. I think I remember when Man of Steel was being made, there was a bit of an issue over copyright because one of the family of the brothers who invented Superman still owns a lot of the copyright. Now, when it comes to the copyright with Superman, it's not just Superman. It's like the colour of his cape, the S emblem, the red underpants, the yellow belt.
Basically, everything you see in the comic book as a film is copyrighted.
Yeah, so every individual thing has a copyright issue with it, and so it also has a territorial copyright. So, like in the States, you can show, like Warner Brothers could make a film with certain bits of copyright in that, and then in Europe it would be different. So they have to work around all these different things to make it work for world entertainment.
I'm sure what you're on about though. I'm not sure whether it was Shoestack or it was the other one, but I'm sure DC then went and paid them. I'm sure.
Okay, so they've worked that out.
Yeah, they've worked that out now. I'm sure I think they went and they paid them.
Great. Okay. Well, if you know any different, please let us know in the comments. I'd love to know a bit more about what happened because I remember I was following the Man of Steel Facebook page and they were talking about it on there. There was even like a radio chat about it. And it didn't really go anywhere else, and I never heard really what else happened about that. So if anyone knows, then please comment below. That'd be great.
Yeah. I've seen it about general chat. This week I've bought myself 3 films this week. Bought myself The Princess Bride on Blu-ray. Bought myself Never Ending Story on Blu-ray, and I've also seen last week, but I've actually finally bought this week, is Gone Girl, which I think is an absolutely fantastic film.
Which I haven't seen. Yeah.
So I won't go into it, I don't spoil it for
yeah.
Tim, but it's a really fantastic, lots of twists and turns. It wasn't something I could predict. I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
One thing I will say to you though, there's a thing at the moment where when people are watching films, they'll fiddle with the phones, and people just can't sit and just watch a film anymore and be focused on the film. With Gone Girl, I find you absolutely need to be focused on the film, because if you miss something, you're going to lose track. It's that type of film.
Right.
So if you've not seen it yet, go and see it. Well, buy the DVD, rent it, whatever you want to do. It's an absolutely fantastic film.
Okay.
And obviously Never Ending Story and The Princess Bride.
Oh, well, those two are classics in my eyes.
The oldies aren't they, but
yeah.
the films that you may not have seen for a while.
Well, when it comes to Princess Bride, it's probably one of my top films. As in sort of the humour, everything about it, the characters.
It's humorous and funny without being stupid.
Yeah, it's got so many. You can quote so much of it, you know.
Inconceivable.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Neil Gundentoria. I'm not going to try that.
You killed my father.
Prepare to die. Yeah. Drop your sword.
It's got a fantastic cast, hasn't it?
The casting's fantastic. Who have I met? Very briefly. Is Wesley.
Yeah. Carrie Alvarez.
Yeah, I met him at Birmingham Comic Con just last year in November. We met him for briefly, like it must have been about a minute. We basically had a little chat with him, and that was it. Didn't really get to say much. He signed a few photos, and it was very nice. Don't get me wrong, but there was a bit of a queue, and we felt a bit. When there's a queue, you always feel pressure that people are like waiting,
And you want to get off, don't you? You can hear the holes getting burned in the back of your head. Move, get your stuff signed.
But I mean, there have been times where we've spoken to people, we've had ages with them because there hasn't been a queue, and we just spoke to them. Honestly, we've never met anyone we don't like. Honestly, everyone's been fantastic. I'll tell you one person who has been one of my favourites who we met, and I'm really sorry, but I can't remember her real name. But she played the Borg Queen in Star Trek First Contact, and she's played in Silence of the Lambs as well, and a few other films. She's in Sharp, and she's in the second Thor film as one of the medical people. I can't remember. I'm really sorry, I can't remember her name, and it's a bit of a weird pronouncement, but we did anyway.
Sure, Tim will add it. David,
I'll put it up on the screen or something. But she was absolutely fantastic to talk to. Really open, really genuine. You always think when it comes to celebrities, people are going to be a bit stuck up or anything like that, but she was just really fantastic, and some of the stuff we were talking about was just gobsmacking, the stuff she's done. So if you've never been to a Comic-Con and spoken to a celebrity or anything like that, or you feel shy, please try, because it really makes your day. It gives you a good buzz. One of the things we really look out for now is people to meet and to talk to.
I've
great.
still not, at 33 years of age, been reading comics for, let's say, all but 4 or 5 of those years. I've never been to a Comic-Con, but we're going to remedy that this year, haven't we?
Yeah, well, hopefully. Yeah, probably in the next November.
November 1, so
yeah.
Looking forward to that. Never Ending Story as well.
Never Ending Story, sorry, yeah. I actually went to the cinema to see this one. It's one of my catchphrases now, isn't it? My mum and dad took me to the cinema to see this, and I loved the theme tune at the end. I'm not going to sing it now.
Lamal, wasn't it?
Just fantastic. It's one of those films that, it just grabs you, and the story it's a really imaginative story. And
I've actually got the book by my colleague.
I've not seen any of the sequels. I haven't bothered, to be honest with you. When I hear there were sequels coming out, it just kind of like, But the first one, if you're a young kid and if you're like 7 or 8, I'd really recommend it, because it's an ideal age to watch.
It's a family film.
It's got great characterisation in it. The story is really good, and it just has such an element of fantasy.
I like the film as well, that carry a message, and that film to me is like very simple. The Never Ending Story and the Princess Bride both got a very similar message, and it's don't stop using your imagination as you get older. Don't lose it. keep using it. Fantasy. Make sure you give a little bit of fantasy there. Make sure you're enjoying life. And
yeah. And I think it would encourage kids to read books as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's something that kids need to be. I mean, a lot of people say, you know, encourage your kids to read books, and
it's a
books are fantastic.
You know, nobody holds a book now. There are all these tablets and that. I mean,
still,
there's nothing wrong. There's still reading books there, but I'm old-fashioned. I like to feel the paper between my fingers. And I'm exactly the same with comic books. I know a lot of people now are going out and they're downloading the comic books digitally. I like to own.
I'd love to own the comic books because,
nothing better than flicking through a comic book, is there?
Yeah, that's
you know
great.
what I mean? Having a little collection on your shelf, and because everybody's going, they're all going DVD-less now, aren't they? And
I'm not into the digital only thing. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Actually, I think we'll have another video on that. I think we'll go into the digital or the physical medium.
Yeah, physical medium.
We'll do that. Let us know. Tell you what, any of the stuff that we bring up in this chat that we're having. Now, this is a general chit-chat thing.
And please feel free to ask us questions. If we start getting enough questions, we'll do like questions only videos, and we want you to drive our content. We want people out there to decide what you want us to talk about. At the moment, we're making up our own content because like we got one question. But if there's anything out there that you want us to discuss, or anything you want to ask us, feel free.
Yeah, please do. We're totally open for any sort of content you want us to talk about. I mean, we have ideas, you know, we've got ideas for more videos and stuff, but if there's anything you want to add in, anything that you really want us to talk about, you know, that'd be great.
You watch the videos, so what do you want to watch?
Yeah.
Because we have found that our views are popping up a bit now more on some of our videos, so maybe a few more people are starting to get to know about us, but at the end of the day, you choose what you want to watch, so if you want us to talk about something,
drop us a comment.
Anything you bought anything this week?
Not really. I bought one game. I tried to get 2 games to the second hand. I'll just get it actually because I'll tell you what, it's really unprofessional. But this is not one of our general videos. Just do a dance while I get this one. I've never played this game. It's on the PlayStation 3. It's called Homefront. There you go. It says it's got 9. I got it for £3, and I thought that was a bargain. It's obviously a first-person shooter. Never played it. Don't know.
Never played it myself.
Don't know what to expect.
I've seen it a few times, but never.
I have seen it on the shelves a few times, but when I saw it on the shelf for £3, I thought, you know, why not?
Yeah. We all like a good bargain, don't we?
Definitely, yeah. And I'm getting to be a bit more of a hoarder now, especially when it comes to games. I'm trying to start to collect a lot more now, especially if I start doing reviews. I plan to do some reviews in the future, so I'm trying to get.
Well, hopefully you'll get more reviews from the both of us that come here because we start watching more films. All the films we like to see coming out, and we definitely want to do a review of the Avengers: Age of Ultron. Definitely want to do a review of Ant-Man. All that type of stuff we definitely need to do. We'll be doing a review of Star Wars when we've seen that.
We'll probably do more of the bigger films, especially like Terminator and so on, because basically America sometimes get films before we do, and so a lot of the reviews that Americans do, there's some great people out there who do them, you know, they get them out there before, months sometimes before we can ever do them, and by then people have already watched.
But Age of Ultron we get it first, don't we, again?
Well, yeah, so we'll hopefully be first with that, and we actually plan to do like a run up to maybe some of the the sequel ones like Terminators and stuff. We'll probably do reviews of the first Terminator movie and so on, and then when we get to the next one, the latest one, we'll do something like that. You know, we're thinking of things like that. So yeah, and video games as well. So I'm planning to do some reviews on newer games. Question is money, basically. And
well, we've got a Arkham Knight coming out this year. I mean, which we want to do. I definitely want to talk about Uncharted 4 because I fucking love the Uncharted games.
Yeah. I've got all the other Uncharted games, sorry. And there's the film coming out in the next year or so.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously games and films, they've not been very successful.
No.
We've got
the Assassin's Creed film coming out, haven't we? With what's it, Michael Fassbender.
Oh really? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, sometimes you think the casting is fantastic on some of these films, and then you see the film and you think, well, they all go wrong.
I've never recovered from watching Mario Brothers, to be honest with you.
Oh, Mario Brothers. And there's the Street Fighter one as well.
Yeah, but the Street Fighter one, it's a guilty pleasure, man. If it's on the telly and I'm flicking through, it's there, I'll leave it on.
Do you know what, it is a bit one of those films you kind of watch to kind of, you can't help but watch it.
Yeah, it's just on.
Yeah.
But then it's like someone will walk in the room, you'll turn it off quick, you don't recall watching it. But no, I'm still struggling with that. I can't remember there being good. I didn't think Mortal Kombat was that good, to be honest with you. I can't think of has there ever been made a good computer game film?
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
I actually really enjoyed the first Silent Hill movie.
The second one, the second one.
I've not seen the second one yet. I'll have to watch that. But I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was very good. Sorry, I can't think of the words sometimes. It was very. They sort of merged the first few things from different games into the film, but it was just really well done, especially when it I'm getting all my words totally
transcends.
Yeah, from the sort of the what's it called when it goes into like the horror bit, you know, it got your big siren comes up.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Sorry, I'm losing my words. You probably know what I mean. But anyway, I thought that was fantastically done.
Computer games could be the next comic book as far as films come. Once you get one big hit and you get there's so many, there's an absolute plethora of titles out there that could be made into film.
Oh, definitely, there's loads. I mean,
I think maybe they've probably picked the wrong film.
It is, yeah, maybe, but sometimes it's in reverse as well. When you think in some of the past ones, the movie license into games has not always worked either. There's a handful of good ones, or mediocre ones, which have been fairly playable, but not outstanding, except maybe Batman. But they're kind of based more on comic books.
They're more on the comics than the films, really.
So not really the films. Although then again, there have been a few good Batman games that have been based on the film. Like Batman Returns on the Super Nintendo was really good.
I love Batman the movie on the Spectrum.
Spectrum, yeah, and even the RoboCop one actually on the Spectrum, and that was pretty good actually. So there's a few.
There's tons. I mean, I don't know. Have you seen Need for Speed? I've not seen it.
Need for Speed, no.
I
haven't. I heard it was okay actually.
I've not seen it yet. Because there's no computer game films that have shouted out to me, I've got to go and see that film. No. Because you're more the gamer than me, aren't you? So you'd understand things more. I've never played the game, but I've seen the characters in shops and on the television and stuff like that. One game I'm really excited to see, just because I think it'd be really, really good, is Warcraft.
Oh yes,
that looks really interesting.
Yeah,
that make an interesting film, sort of like a Lord of the Rings type vibe.
Yeah, they're saying that this will be a game changer, hopefully, for the movie industry when it comes to games being made into movies. And then again, you know, you're that's what we were talking about a second ago.
Assassin's Creed.
No, the other one, the adventure one. Uncharted, sorry. The Uncharted. I'm hoping this is going to be good because the games are such a characterization. You know, it's such a character-built game, and it's such a strong character.
It wasn't too bad, was it?
Yeah. Oh, that was okay actually. Yeah, I enjoyed the first Tomb Raider. But then they got Jan de Bont to do the second one, and it just completely tornadoes.
Yeah. Tank.
Yeah, tornado. This is what I'm like. It must be when I'm in front of a camera.
But yeah, tell me, is there any comic book films that you like? Say, just
apart from Batman.
Apart from Batman, just put a comment below and say, how did you not think of that film?
Yeah. And some of the Spider-Man ones have been good. We've had a few good Spider-Man comic book games, and
I loved
based on the
movies.
movies.
I loved the game from the first Spider-Man. I think it was on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really.
In fact, there was one on the PlayStation, which was actually very good.
That was just on the comic. That alone wasn't really from the film. That was just on. It was called The Amazing Spider-Man. And every single character in from the comic. I think it was like one of the longest games I ever played.
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed that.
They're games I need to buy again. I used to own loads of these games and now I need to buy them again. For some stupid reason, I decided to trade them. Don't ever trade. Well, you can trade.
If you enjoy a game, don't trade it.
Yeah, but you'll grow up into your 30s or 40s and you'll think, why did I ever get rid of those games? Especially when you've got kids, you want them to play them as well, and you're like, oh, you have to buy them again, or finally, and you start getting rare, and you have to pay through the nose for them. It's a horrible thing. There you go. Lesson learned. So yeah, the comic book movies. Well, let's wait and see. Let's hope that the next wave of game movies will be good.
I think whatever way Warcraft turns out, I think that'll decide the rest of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Because if Warcraft comes out, and I think Warcraft's coming up before Assassin's Creed. I think if Warcraft comes out and it's not up to what it should be, I think a lot of people will go, I'm not going to bother with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they'll pull the plug. Yeah.
Oh, I think I'll still get made, but I think I think the customers, I think the cinema movie going audience will go, nah, you're okay.
Yeah, and it's been kind of a trend with that, hasn't it? Because I remember you saying like the Mario Brother movie.
It wasn't even Mario. What was Mario about it? There was nothing apart from that.
I don't know what they were. I don't even know if they even knew what the game was when they made it. They just knew the title and they thought, let's go with that. They were two plumbers.
And it's had like Rutger Hauer in it and Bob Hoskins. And
Bob Hoskins, what a waste of a talent.
Yeah. Surely Bob Hoskins must have been making that film going, what the hell's going on here?
Apparently, I think it was his kids or his grandkids or something who got him to sign up for it. Because they loved the video game and they showed him the game and there's this little character jumping up and down and he was like, okay, what have I got myself in for here?
It was like two plumbers had been thrown into the middle of Demolition Man.
It was a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's what the environment seemed like. Seemed very Demolition Man, wasn't it? Like, you know when he goes underground and they're all eating the rat burgers in Demolition Man? It's like they'd all been last stand under there. And then you had the creatures from the Fifth Element that were meant to be the Goombas who were just weird.
Yeah.
The Goombas, I can remember in the computer game, looked like giant potatoes with feet. Now, I don't want the Goombas to look like that, but at least have some sort of representation of them. They certainly were little mini-headed giant lizards, really.
Yeah, and this is where CGI was just coming into films as well. So I remember they had like the tongue of
Rutger Hauer.
No. Bad guy in Speed. Dennis.
Oh, yeah, Dennis Hopper.
See,
I'm saying Rutger Hauer, it's not Rutger, it's Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper played Bowser, and he sort of got slightly genetically altered and his tongue could turn into a lizard tongue and use CGI for that. You know, they were starting to play with CGI.
See, the CGI of like the early 90s was basically the 3D of 2008 onwards. Everybody thought they could use it, but not everybody could use it well.
Well, that's like what we were talking about with practical effects and CGI in one of our earlier videos. Please check it out. Where you're only as good as you've got all the tools to play with now. You've got unlimited imagination to make almost anything you want. And now filmmakers just it's like it's like in a candy store. You can just have anything. Do you take it all and make yourself sick? In other words, make a flop of a movie too much, or do you use them wisely? Pick and choose what you need for those scenes. Use them wisely. Use the best tools for the best job, and use the imagination right. Try to go too.
I love James Cameron, and I really liked Avatar. I really did. I watched it a couple of times, but if I watch it back now, I find that James Cameron used to be one of the best directors at solving a problem practically before they go to CGI.
He knows his stuff.
He knows his stuff, James Cameron. I can remember when he basically tried to drown people when he made Titanic. He had a big boat in the deep tank and it looked like people were drowning. That's what he'd done. He could have done it all CGI, but to make it look real, he had a big boat there tipping up, throwing people in, throwing into the water. But then you look at Avatar and you think, you know what, it's a good film, but was the stuff there that was done CGI that could have been done practical? And I think there was. When you look back there, you think,
well, maybe some animals.
Yeah, but you look there and you think, why did he CGI that? He didn't need to CGI that. And I think CGI just gets a grip of people, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it is an amazing looking film.
It's amazing.
You can't fault the effects really, I think. Yeah. It's yeah. But when you look at his older films, where he's used a bit of both, like Terminator 2, perfect example. Yeah. He mastered it. You know, he got the right balance, and he took the right amount of CGI to push it to that sort of hype level, because it was all fresh and new for everyone then. It was one of the first movies to really use CGI in that way, because the T-1000 morphing into different characters and using blades and all sorts. And everyone was like really hyped about it, saying you've got to see these effects, they're amazing.
All the films that James Cameron has made,
they've all been groundbreaking.
I've all been groundbreaking. But one of my favourite James Cameron film is still one that he made very early on in his career, and the sequel to Alien.
Aliens, one of his best films. Definitely.
That's still my favourite film.
Game over, man.
Exactly. It's just the fact that the way we've discussed this in the previous video before about CGI versus practical, and the Alien and that, still because there's no CGI used. Because that alien is there, you feel like you can reach out and touch it. That is one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
And I think in that specific genre, when it comes to like sci-fi horror or horror in general, anything like that, I think practical effects are where it most counts, especially for the actors. Gives them something real to react to, and gives them something on camera which looks like it is on camera. The shadow and everything's perfect because it's there. You know, there's no silly artist to mess it up or anything like that to get the lighting just wrong or something. It's there on camera.
Here's a question for you. Have you ever been, is there a creature or a monster that's CGI that you've actually ever been scared of? A CGI monster.
Good question. I'll have a think about that one. At the top of my head, I can't think.
See, I'm exactly the same as you. I cannot think.
You just think, wow, that's amazing effects.
You think that's amazing? Like I went to see Godzilla.
Right, okay, I haven't seen that one.
I
saw the other one.
It's really good. The lizard, Godzilla looks amazing.
Yeah.
The lizard. Godzilla looks amazing. I know I'm not meant to be scared by Godzilla, but you're not really intimidated by him because you know it's an effect. Whereas, like I said, with the aliens, the shark in Jaws. I mean, they're talking about doing a remake of Jaws now, aren't they?
Oh, really?
Shark. Yeah.
Oh. So many shark movies though, isn't it? There's like a billion of them. It's like everyone's just gone mad with sharks.
Don't forget the best one though, Deep Blue Sea.
Tell me that one.
Deep Blue Sea. I've not seen. I think no. I did watch the first Sharknado. It was It was on Netflix one day, and I just watched it. And you know what? Don't stay away from it. Watch it. It's just that funny.
Is it so bad that it's good?
It's so good. It's so bad.
Tell you what, if you know AVGN, Angry Video Game Nerd, he did a sort of a short film on all the different shark movies that have been out since he did that one. I'll try and find it and put a link to it on this video if I can remember to do it.
I'm sure there's someone called Sharktopus.
Yeah, there's tons that he goes through. I think it's a two-parter. This video actually, it goes through that many. So I'll try and find the links for them and put them below because they're good. Actually, there's one film I can think of where it's a combination of CGI and practical effects where it does work on making you a bit scared. That's Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yeah. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. But that's Spielberg, so it doesn't count because he's out of this world anyway.
He does it well. Although having said that, the second one didn't do it for me.
No.
But then,
but the wow factor had gone out, and we'd seen the dinosaurs.
So, yeah, we've been spoiled already.
We'd seen the dinosaurs and been spoiled already.
Yeah.
We knew that.
But I think Jeff Goldblum in that film put it really well. He's like, yeah, first it's ooh and ah, and then there's running and screaming and eating and biting. Or worse to that effect.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
Spielberg made the second one.
Yeah.
Spielberg made it. I think it was. I'm sure he was doing that to get finals for another film because it's just that's one film where I look at it and it's not a Spielberg.
Probably. Yeah.
It's not a Spielberg film for me.
No.
Maybe was that made before or after Saving Private Ryan?
I think before. Yeah.
So maybe he made that to get Saving Private Ryan made.
Which is an amazing film. I just want to correct something, by the way. In one of our earlier videos we talked about Jurassic Park and I said it came out in 92. It didn't, it came out in 93. So my apologies there.
93. I was 11.
can't remember how old I was. I actually never went to see it at the cinema either, despite all the hype. I was going to go see it, and then it was too late. And yeah, the same with Titanic. Remember all the hype of Titanic? I was saying, gotta see it at the cinema, gotta see it at the cinema. When it came out again after the Oscars, it got re-released in the cinema. I still never got around to seeing it.
I've seen that film in the pictures, I think twice. It was certainly, it wasn't a masterpiece, but it was what people describe as it was an event film, wasn't it? Yeah. Everyone was talking about it.
It just touched people's hearts, and it whether you hate it or like it, it's one of those films.
It's always going to be looked back on. Isn't it? Certain films just stand out in history, and when you look at films, when I look back at years and decades, the first thing I think about, other than what football kit Liverpool were at the time, is I think about what films came out that year. And 1996 will always be. Was it 96?
97.
97.
And I'm right on that one because I remember.
97 will be the year that Titanic came out.
Yeah, that was a good year for movies actually, if I remember correctly. Well, I can't remember now.
Brain just goes dead now.
But I remember Titanic being one of the big ones then.
Titanic.
I remember watching like the making of it and things like that. The making of that film is as interesting as the film, especially because of the history behind it. It's got a real history behind it and everything, and the fact of all the research they went through, even diving down to the real wreckage. And even since then they've done it again. There's a film on Netflix, I can't remember what it's called now, where it's
Ghosts of the Abyss, is it?
Yes. You can watch that. It's a great film to watch. They went down in 2001, I think it was.
Here's something for you. Talking about making our film, right? There's a film that's coming out this year called The Death of Superman Lives. What happened?
Yes.
I have been looking forward to this film. John
Yeah.
Sneff. I've been looking forward to this film for 2 years.
I can't wait to see this one. This is something I've actually backed on Kickstarter. When I heard about it, I was instantly on there, put money down there, saying that I want to see this movie. Basically because I'm a really big Superman fan, and I always find stuff like this really fascinating about what happens behind the scenes.
I find making films are fascinating, but this is a film that it's making a film. It's making a film with a difference. It's making a film that was never actually made. It makes it even more intriguing. In 90, was it 90?
It was not long after Batman and Robin, because they were on the toy thing.
So about 97, 98.
That's what actually sort of partially was the reason why it got stopped making, because Batman and Robin got such a bad review.
Well, 97, 98, Tim Burton signed on, didn't he, to make a film called Superman Lives.
The death of Superman. Superman Lives, that's right,
Superman Lives.
Because the film John Snepp is making is The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. I'll try and put a link to that as well, because I'll put a link to his Facebook, at least, you can get a gist of what it's all about, because it's going to be fascinating.
And so far what I've seen, he's got interviews with Tim Burton.
A lot of the creators.
A lot of the writers. And what it was Nicolas Cage was going to star. Nicolas Cage was going to be Superman. Seeing all laughing there.
There was a massive uproar actually.
But it was when you look at the making of what I've seen so far, it's such an intriguing thing, isn't it? The suit was dramatically changed, wasn't it? There was a point where he was going to be all in black.
Well, there's several changes to it. I've actually read one of the leaked scripts. I don't know how close it is to what the version would have been made of, but I did read it, and there was a bit where he loses his powers and he has to use a suit that gives him back his powers. And I think that's the one that you see online that you can, that got leaked, where it's all sorts of flashing and stuff. And it was going to be Brainiac, who was going to be the bad guy in it. Lex Luthor.
Brainiac who hope we see in this DC cinema.
I hope they'll bring him into this world. I'm sure they will. If the rest of the film's successful, that is. But you can find it if you just Google it. I'm sure you can find the leaked script. I don't know how many are out there, but the one I read was quite interesting. And there's also an amazing video of the writer of the script, who was Kevin Smith. and there's an amazing video of him talking about it.
There's like a question and answer thing in the
university
or something,
yeah.
and he talked about 10 minutes on the making of this film.
Yeah.
And when he was involved, because he was only involved briefly, he wrote a script.
Yeah.
And it's one of the funniest things you will
ever. It's really good.
It's almost not like it's like a stand-up. It's basically a stand-up routine.
Well, Kevin Smith's got this gift, hasn't he, of being able to chat like that. Yeah. In fact, there was an interview with John Snepp and him who's going to be out in the video as well. So that I'm looking forward to seeing that.
So yes, that's going to be really good. So John Snepp, the death of Superman Lives. What happened? Look out for it. I'm not sure when it's going to get a cinematic release over here. That's the only problem. But I'm sure at some point we'll see it on DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah, hopefully I should get a Blu-ray copy when it, as my Kickstarter sort of thank you thing bundle. So I'll be able to watch it that way. Yeah. You can come around and watch it.
Yeah. Yes. We'll review it.
Yeah. Yes, we'll do a review of it because I've been looking forward to this for a couple of years now, since I first heard about it, and it just intrigues me, the stuff that goes on behind the curtain in Hollywood.
Like I just said, it intrigues me that they made the making of a film that didn't happen.
Yeah, which I think possibly is one of the first ones
ever
I've heard about anyway. Yeah. So yeah, this would be great to see.
So is that the end of our general chat show?
I think we'll leave it there because there's a lot of links I have to find now.
Our descriptions is going to be meant.
But I've really enjoyed this. I think we'll do another one. If you want us to do another one, please let us know because we just like talking about this sort of stuff.
And if you don't like our general chat shows, then send us questions and topics so that we can make videos of stuff that you want to watch.
Yeah, definitely. So on that note, I think we'll end it there. And thank you so much for watching this video on SuperNerds.
Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thumbs up on our videos. Like our Facebook, share our Facebook posts, follow us on Twitter and we tweet all our posts, and
we check all our comments as well.
When we
get them.
When we get them, and we respond to them all as well. So thank you very much for watching and enjoy your company.
Thank you.